Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyra and today is a collaboration with my favorite person, Anya Stamper, here on YouTube, and we are calling this collaboration Makeup That Gives Us the Feels. So what, may you ask, is makeup that gives us the feels? Well, it isn't necessarily about the performance of the product. It may be something more like you love the smell, you love the luxe packaging, you love the way you feel or the way it makes you feel when you wear the product. Maybe it helps you live your fantasy self life. Maybe someone special gave it to you. Maybe you wore it for a special occasion and it reminds you of that, and so on and so forth. And if you want to see how I created this look with all of my products, then let's go ahead and get into the video. So for my primer, I have the BECCA First Light Priming Filter, the full size. And the reason I picked this one is actually a really common reason, I think, and that is for the packaging. And you know, it is a beautiful primer. I wouldn't have bought it just for the packaging, but the packaging is actually what gives me the feels, if you will. It's just got the gorgeous frosted glass bottle. It's, you know, got this, I mean, the primer is purple for Pete's sake. For foundation, I have the Loreal Infallible Longwear Shaping Stick in the shade 404 Shell Beige. And plain and simple, the reason I like this one and the reason it gives me the warm and fuzzies is because, one, it's drugstore, and had been quite a while since I had found a drugstore foundation that I thought was suiting, etc. But I also love this one. It makes me super, super happy because I know I'm going to get my base done fast. And this is exactly how I use this product. I use a very small, dense brush. I have tried drawing it on my face. I don't prefer it that way, mostly because I don't know, it tends to look more dry and be too much product. Whereas I feel like with the brush, I get just the right amount of product every time. And it's got good coverage. So areas like over my lip where I have melasma, I can bump up the coverage very easily, as well as other areas where I don't feel like I need as much coverage, like the forehead. Next is my concealer, and this is the product that I picked up on the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale. This was a recommendation from Emily Noel. This is the Bare Minerals BareSkin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. And the thing that I love about this concealer, the thing that makes me happy to pick it up every single time, is how it feels under my eyes. Again, I know we said we're not talking about performance here, and I'm really not talking about the performance of this product. I'm more talking about the texture of this product. So many concealers, as soon as I put them under my eyes, I can literally feel the moisture being sucked out of my skin. And this doesn't feel that way. This feels hydrating. It almost feels cooling. It feels like I have nothing on under the eye once it's blended out. I just like how it feels on my skin, and therefore I always look forward to using that one. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I think that this concealer is in the shade Light. Everything will be listed down below though, so if you miss something, check it out. So next is powder, and the powder that gives me feels of some kind is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Dim Light. This product gives me feels for a lot of reasons, but the main reason, this was my very first high-end powder, as well as I just love how flawless it makes my skin look. I don't normally use this in a setting capacity, but today we're winging it. I mean, it's not that I won't use it to set my makeup. I just usually don't. I usually use it as a finishing powder, which is exactly what it is. And I use it at the end to sort of like buff out or blend any color cosmetics that look a little crazy, that kind of thing. So not even something that I use every day, but when I use it, I just know that my makeup's going to look gorgeous, famous last words. And, you know, I just love the way that I feel when I wear this. I feel flawless, among other things. Next, for bronzer, I have a little song for you. Jingle bells, bougie all the way. For bronzer, I have the Kevyn Aucoin Neobronzer. I literally call this a bougie bag because the bronzer does come in the little velvet bag. I don't know who keeps them or whatever. This is in the shade Siena. And the reason I love this, not only is it a fantastic shade for me, the bronzer part is sort of down here. I love a red toned bronzer. I just find it to be most flattering to my skin tone. But also, I feel like the bougiest booty guru there ever was when I use this on or off the camera. The camera? On or off camera. I feel so bougie, so beautiful, so flawless. Like, I just feel like I'm living my best life when I wear this bronzer. The blush is also a beautiful tone for me. I also love too that this is like a one and done situation in terms of colored face products for me, and they're all perfect. I love a subtle highlight, and the highlight in here is definitely subtle. However, I did decide not to use this, like all three of the products in here today, because I thought that'd be kind of boring. I wanted to give you a separate blush and a separate highlighter. For blush, this is one that I used to talk about on my channel all the time, and then I started buying blush like a freaking maniac and still am, but this is legitimately my #1 blush. But that's not what we're here for today. This product gives me the feels because it is dirt cheap. It's my #1 blush, and I'm just as proud to wear this cheap ass blush as I am to wear an Hourglass blush, and that is the e.l.f. Mellow Mauve blush. This is beautiful. It has a warm sort of terracotta base, but it has a shift of like blue and lilac almost. But I am so tempted to get a backup of this blush because I haven't found its match, and we know, especially at the drugstore, brands discontinue things all the time, and if I ever didn't have this blush in my life, I could possibly cry, but probably not. Most highlighters don't give me the feels in any way, shape, or form. I just don't get excited about highlights. I'm kind of a one-trick pony when it comes to highlight. I'm not too adventurous or anything like that. But this particular highlight, whilst perusing the aisles of Ulta with my bestie last weekend, or the weekend before, I think, I came across this highlight, decided to swatch it, which I almost never do with highlighters, and I audibly gasped out loud, so much so that my best friend, my daughter, they all turned around, and it was this. This is the Juvia's Place Tribe Highlighter Volume 3, and unfortunately they didn't have one in stock at the store, and they're like, well, we could order it for you, blah blah blah, and I was like, nah, you know, thinking it's just not meant to be. No. I ordered it like the next day, and it finally arrived today. So this particular one gives me the feels because I literally gasped when I swatched it. It looks wet but it looks glowy and natural and like it becomes homogeneous or whatever with your skin. Just look at that. Oh, stunning. So literally, as I was prepping for this video and getting ready to start my camera, the mail came, this arrived, and we're going to try it on my face now. And I'll tell you what, Juvia's Place has been on my radar more lately, which is something. Oh God, I die. I'm dead. Oh, look at it. Is it not so beautiful? I don't get excited about highlights. If you've been on my channel for a while, you probably know that. I always stick with the same ones. I can see myself panning this highlighter. I mean, with one cheek applied, never tried it before. After swatching it, I thought I absolutely will pan this highlighter at some point because I'm not going to want to put it down. I love a really sort of natural glow from within highlighting look, but at the same time, sometimes those types of highlighters just don't show up quite enough for me, and this just buffs into the skin beautifully. Like, I want to wear this highlight every day for the rest of my life. Therefore, this had to be the highlighter for this video. No two ways about it. This is like a natural highlighter on steroids. It still looks like a natural glow in my opinion. It's just amped up a little bit, exaggerated if you will, and I love it. I love it so much. Setting spray. This is all about the smell, and it is the Badescu facial spray with aloe, sage, and orange blossom. I bought the Big Daddy here, online only at Ulta. Great deal when you buy it that way. But I put it in my trusty CoverFX bottle because it has the finest mist you ever wanted.
Effie, brace yourself.
She's drowning in it today. All right, it's time to talk eyeshadow, and this, of course, was the hardest category to pick one from because I get so many feels from so many palettes for so many reasons. For example, my Too Faced Sweet Peach palette is near and dear to my heart because it was my very first high-end palette, plus it smells good. For 2 years reigning, my #1 eyeshadow palette is the Persona Identity palette. I love this for so many reasons, but first, I do have my eyelids primed with the Smashbox lid primer in light, and we're gonna go ahead and get into the look before I talk anymore. I'm gonna first go into this shade right here, this beautiful rusty orange called Audacious. First and foremost, I wore this palette not only for my sister's wedding, but for like every special occasion in my life for the last couple of years since I purchased it. I absolutely adore this palette. I have never, ever, ever gotten a bad look out of this palette at all. Never. And that is not only rare, but unheard of. I remember immediately upon, you know, my sister starting to plan her wedding, which was last summer, I knew this was the palette that I was going to wear. And then another slightly more self-absorbed reason for loving this palette is that the creator of this palette, Sona Gasparian herself, commented on my review with this palette, and I can't even begin to tell you how much that meant to me, because I was such a newbie at YouTube, and it really kind of gave me, I mean, not only was I completely stoked because I love this palette, because I love her brand and what it stands for, I just couldn't believe that she watched my video and commented on my video. I was so tickled. I can't even explain it. And that just motivated me to keep going with my channel at that time. Not that I was, you know, considering not doing my channel or anything, but I thought, surely if this woman who owns this brand is commenting and saying how much she loves my looks, you know, there's something to that. Like, maybe I should keep going, and maybe I do have a knack for this thing called YouTube and whatnot. I'm gonna go into Fearless, which is this darkest shade. It's a very dark brown. I love the names in this palette as well. They're very empowering, in my opinion, to women, a lot of them. And so for me, that's also something that I love about this palette, and it's also something, you know, like I said, that I love about the brand. I love what her brand stands for. All right, then going into this sort of bronzy shade called Goddess. I'm gonna put this on sort of the middle of the eye, meeting up with the darkest shade that we just laid down. I'm just going in with my fingers. These shadows are like butter. No brush, no technique, and no setting spray required. And I'm gonna go in with this gold called Gold Digger. Just gonna kind of wrap this around the tear duct here, because it kind of started to do it on its own anyway. Different brush, going into this shade called Sassy. Inner corner. And then last, this shade right here, which is called Humble. This is kind of just a matte peachy shade that I will use for a brow bone highlight. And that, my friends, is that. See what I mean though? It is just freaking flawless. That's all I can say. Okay, so I'm gonna head and tight lined with the Marc Jacobs highliner in the shade Earthquake, which is brown. And then on the lower inner rim, I used my Pixie Eye Bright liner in nude, as almost always. And I did curl my lashes. For mascara is the CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara. This has blown my socks off. I love everything about this, but the reason it gives me the feels is because my previous favorite mascara was the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir Extreme Volume Mascara, and that's expensive. The reason this gives me all the feels, besides the obvious of me absolutely loving this product, is because my high-end favorite mascara has been dethroned by a drugstore affordable mascara. And then last but not least, for lips, is got to be the sweetest little gift I have ever received, and it was this lipstick right here, which is the Maybelline Superstay Ink Crayon in Own Your Empire. And the reason this is so special to me, the reason it warms my heart every time I see it, let alone every time I wear it, is because my sweet, sweet 11-year-old girl Hannah, whom you would have seen in my multi-palette bingo collab with Anya Stamper up here or there. This was bought for me by Hannah. She got, I believe it was a $20 gift card from her grandma, and she spent like $8 of her own money on this lipstick for me. brought it home and said, Mom, you need a new red lipstick because you need to wear red lipstick more. What else could you do besides let your heart just melt? Alright, so here is the final look. I don't know that in any other video I would have chosen this group of products to go together, but these are all the products in my collection, or at least some of them, that give me the feels, that give me the chills, that give me the warm fuzzies, that melt my heart, that smell good, that look cute, and so on. Thank you so much, Anya, for collaborating with me on this idea of yours. I had so much fun. I would love to hear from you all down in the comments about what products in your collection give you the feels, whether it's because of who gave it to you, when you purchased it, when you wore it. What is your coveted makeup? With all of that said, thank you so much for spending part of your day here with me today. I really appreciate you, and if this is your first time here, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button, and I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days, and I will see you in my next video real soon. Let's get into the makeups. Forehead and I have glitter everywhere. I wasn't even wearing these clothes when I put on my glitter. Good grief, Charlie Brown. It's just must be, it's in the air, glitter. Okay, nose is running. It's just not acceptable.